This is our 1920s Federation style house in Maylands, which I suppose could be described as inner city, on a small 600 square metre block. It's a bit hard to see our house because it's above the street level and we've got all these trees in the front garden, veranda on the front, but you can see some of our 6 kilowatts of solar panels on the roof, and just behind the chimney make out the evaporative cooling system intake. Parked in the driveway here is our small iMiev electric car, which we charge pretty well completely from our solar panels. Very, very rarely do we have to charge from the grid. Charging is done just by a normal 15 amp socket, which we had installed here in the carport. As I mentioned, the front garden is pretty well completely WA natives. And coming up the garden path, we can see the verandas on the north east and northwest sides, the Federation style stained glass windows, and these two windows here face pretty well directly north. The house is at a 45-degree angle like most of Maylands, and with the verandas as well and small windows on this side, we pretty well get no free solar heating inside the house, so the house tends to be pretty cold in winter. On the veranda here, my electric bike and my wife's bike, which we use very extensively. The 5 kilowatt inverter, which we've had for 4 or 5 years now with the solar panels. And only for about 6 months now, we've had 2 5 kilowatt hour batteries installed alongside it. Same brand, Goodwee, but because of our inverter not being a hybrid inverter, we had to have an extra 5 kilowatt inverter installed to take the power from the batteries into the house. My wife's not too happy with all this gear stuck on the front veranda, but I think she sort of accepts it by now. Coming around into the front door, it's got a typical Federation style with corridors separating all the various rooms. This is our lounge room, which is cooled and heated by the 2.5 kilowatt reverse cycle air conditioner. We have a ceiling fan as well, which helps with, especially with cooling. The old fireplace, which has got a gas insert, but that's been disconnected for several years now. Haven't used it for a long time, and have no plans, of course. The house is completely electric, as I mentioned. I tend to have a few gadgets around the place. This is a thermometer measuring indoor temperature and the temperature at the exit of one of the ducts from the evaporative cooling system. This is actually mainly used in winter, when we can measure the temperature in the ducts, which, because they're up in the roof space, can be quite warm, and we can turn on the evaporative cooling system fan only, just to blow some nice warm air into the house. I've also got a similar dual thermometer, which is measuring the house temperature, and the external sensor goes up to our solar hot water system tank and tells us how hot the water is inside the tank. This is our bedroom, where we have no extra heating or cooling, just a ceiling fan for the hot nights. French doors we can open onto the veranda. But the evaporative cooling can be used to direct some cool air through this bedroom for extra cooling on the really hot nights. But with the split systems, we usually get the whole house pretty cool during the day from the solar panels, of course. And then we can, that cool spreads pretty much through the whole house, even with all these corridors separating everything off. Going out to the back of the house, this is a kitchen which was renovated 3 or 4 years ago, which is when we made the final adjustment to our gas and got rid of the gas completely by putting in the induction stove. We've still got the old wood powered fireplace, which we never use now. A small galley kitchen. And this whole external area was a renovation we added probably 20 years ago now to make a large family room at the back of the house. And this is cooled and heated with a 3.5 kilowatt reverse cycle system on the wall. That copes quite well with keeping this place comfortable. Especially with the solar panels, we can run that all day long if we need to, just to keep it comfortable. We've put honeycomb blinds on all these large windows. We tried as much as we could to get some sunlight into the house from the morning sun. This is facing southeast, these windows. We have our shade sails up at the moment because it's summer, of course, but in winter they'll all come down, and we do get some morning sun coming in here, but not enough to really heat the place up, of course. The honeycomb blinds are essentially used in winter to help with the air conditioner so that this whole area can be kept warm by that fairly small system. And it all works quite well. We are quite happy with it. We have an upstairs section with 3 extra bedrooms up on top of this ceiling here. The other modification we made was this rail, which we've installed, this curtain rail installed over the entry to the stairs. And we put a big thick curtain on that in winter to stop the heat from this room going upstairs. We've recently installed 2 small air conditioners in 2 of the rooms upstairs as well, because due to my lack of knowledge at that time, we had a steel framed extension built upstairs, steel framed mainly to avoid the white ant problem, but it's only single skin, 90 millimeters thick, and even though the walls are insulated, it does get very hot upstairs. That's a single skin 90 millimeter wall is just not enough to insulate the walls properly. So that's a quick tour through our house, and we'll hope to see you on Sustainable House Day. Thank you. Bye.